Yo, so people caught stealing. Yup. That is today's joint. It is the new film from Darren Aronofsky. It is written by Charlie Huston. Right, the film is produced by Dylan Golden, Ari Handel, Jeremy Dawson, and Darren Aronofsky. It is executive produced by Tarek Ben Ammar, Charlie Huston, Mohammed Malas, and Anne Rurik. It is associate produced by Kat Hobbs, Justin A. Goncalves, Nevi Di Salvatore. We have Rob Simonson and the Idols on the score. Matthew Libatique is down with the cinematography. Right, Justin Allison and Andrew Weisblum took care of editing duties. Casting, we have Mary Vanu. Mark Friedberg is production design. Art direction, we have Laura Ballinger and Michael Simonson. Lisa Scopa is set decoration. Amy Westcott is costume design. All right, hair and makeup, we have Jared Ballog, Mandy Bissetti, Kathleen Brown, Hallie Cole, Oscar Campisi, John Carter, Jodie Chin, Greg Cooper Spencer, Jason J. Doherty, Lindsay Gelfand, Christiana Grant, Philip Hara, Rich Crusoe, Jennifer Lord, Jessica Nelson, Greg Pikuski, Zachary Rips, Tony Roman, and Brett Schmidt. Who else do we have? Okay. Alright, let's get to our cast. Right. Well, we have got Austin Butler plays Hank Thompson. We then have got his girlfriend Yvonne is played by Zoë Kravitz. His neighbor Russ is played by Matt Smith. Right, we have got his boss and friend Paul, played by Griffin Dunn. We've got Amtrak, another friend, and I don't think he works at the bar. He's just, friends with Paul, right? A patron, as it were. So he's played by Action Bronson. We then have got, Detective Roman is played by Regina King. We've got Colorado, played by Benito A Martínez Ocasio, aka Bad Bunny. We have got Dale, played by Dafara Wan Ate. I don't think Dale's one of the Russians. No. Alexei is played by Yuri Kolokolnikov. Pavel, played by Nikita Kukushkin. There is Dwayne, played by George Abad. Jason, played by Will Brill. The Tulum bartender, played by Tenuk Hereta. Henry's mum, Bubble, is played by Carol Kane. Right, we have Shmoley, played by Vincent D'Onofrio. Lipper, played by Liev Schreiber. Yeah, I think that's all our main group of customers. Hero Batter is played by Mackenzie J. Scott, right? So the gist of the film: Hank Thompson, once a hotshot high school baseball prospect turned unlucky alcoholic going nowhere bartender, mistakenly gets caught up in a bloody treasure hunt through New York City. It turns out that the cat Hank's neighbor left in his care is sitting on a secret. Hidden at the bottom of its cage is a key wanted by a sadistic cop, Russian mobsters, and a Samoan hitman, and a pair of psycho brothers who dress in leather gear. Okay. I think that is the synopsis for the book rather than the film, because there were no psycho brothers in leather. Yeah. Or a Samoan hitman. Yeah. It's always weird when that kind of thing happens. Okay, let us take a look at this one. Okay, Hank Thompson was a high school baseball phenom who can't play anymore, but everything else is going okay. He's got a great girl, tends a bar at New York Dive, and his favorite team is making an underdog run at the pennant. I don't know, it's a baseball term. When his punk rock neighbor Russ asks him to take care of his cat for a few days, Hank suddenly finds himself caught in the middle of a motley crew of threatening gangsters. They all want a piece of him. The problem is he has no idea why. As Hank attempts to evade their ever-tightening grip, he's got to use all his hustle to stay alive long enough to find out. So, that's more like what this film is. You know what I mean? I do think, because this, as I said, this was actually a book, right? It's an adaptation of a book written by none other than Charlie Huston. He adapted his own book for the screen. So the book came out in 2004, right? Of the same name. And it seems Hank Thompson has got, there's two other books with Hank Thompson. A Dangerous Man. And the other one is Six Bad Things. So I think Six Bad Things is a sequel, and then it's A Dangerous Man, if you were interested. You know what I mean? So, this film, right, we open up, like, we've got this subway, and then we've got this kind of baseball game going on, which all feels a little bit random. And then we have Henry working in the bar, right? And I think you kind of get the throw in with baseball, because him and his mum love, the Giants. And then you've got the whole thing of him having a baseball career, right? So, but yeah, the subway, I feel, is probably just a New York thing, I think the big thing with this is the aesthetics, right? I think it's shot really nicely, I think the shooting is done really well. We got these great little tracking shots and things such as that. So all of that, I think they do a good job of drawing you in. You know what I mean? Making you feel kind of a form of connection with what we are seeing. And I also thought the end credits were just really imaginative. Just the way the writing flips and then, just moves around the screen and all of that. We got the little cat doing its thing and just all of that. I enjoyed all of that aspect of this film. Right? They try and do something different with the subtitles. You know what I mean? Like the Russians, their speech is in red. We've got the Jewish peoples in blue. And I think we've got Latino in yellow. I think it may be something else. So, yeah, that's a little different, right? The only thing with different color subtitles is there's no hard background behind it. And if the text was tiny, So, I mean, I was never going to see it. But I don't even know if people with good eyesight if it's going to be great for them, But again, aesthetically, it's an interesting approach. You can say that, right? So yeah, the film looks good and all of that. And yeah, no, it plays fine. You know what I mean? It's kind of run of the mill, right? It's a typical kind of story. It's not the worst thing I've ever seen. It's not the best thing I've ever seen, right? It's kind of mid. You know what I mean? Like, for me anyway. It's because you know where this story is going, right? There's certain things, like, there's things in films, right? Sometimes they'll show you something, or there'll be a certain sequence, and you're just like, there's not really a big reason, significant reason to show you other than we're gonna get a similar thing or a callback to that thing, later on in the film. So there were certain things that we saw and you're just like, okay, yeah, that's gonna happen again, right? That's gonna be, utilized in this fashion. Like, you just knew, like you knew that there's a certain red herring. Yeah, it is herring, isn't it? I feel herring is the one. But there's one of them, which I thought was pretty obvious, right? You were just like, oh, yeah, this is going in this direction for sure, right? So I think all of these things you knew were going to happen. And then our characters, there's not really any depth to them. You know what I mean? So I think there's certain things that happen to certain people where I think it should be oh, fuck. But it's kind of like, I mean, firstly, like, well, you could see that coming a mile off. And secondly, they didn't really do anything, So, that's the big thing. That's the problem, because we don't necessarily form connections And there needs to be connections here for us to care, for us to want to, you know what I mean, be committed to seeing where all of this goes. Right? We've got his girlfriend, you know, Henry's girlfriend, played by Zoë Kravitz, who, you know, Zoë Kravitz is great, right? But Yvonne really serves no purpose in the film, really. And there's this bit at the beginning, and they're getting it on. She takes her top off, and we kind of zoom in on her breasts. And it's just a bit like, I don't know why that's there, right? It serves no purpose. And, you know, you can have them falling around in bed if you really need it. It doesn't really need it, right? Scene isn't really needed, you know what I mean? But you could have shot it without the zoom in, you know what I mean? Like, it's just kind of weird, you know? It's just kind of a weird scene. Right? And there's a lot of that. There's these weird scenes. Right? The thing with Henry, he gets these nightmares. Right? Suppose he wakes up. You know what I mean? He's haunted by his past. But you kind of then get to a point where he doesn't seem to be haunted by the past anymore. Right? Supposedly he's a raging alcoholic. Which, firstly, you do not really notice only at one point of the film, right? But then, it's kind of like, it's not throughout, because with someone like that, who supposedly is this dependent on alcohol, they kind of be drinking all the time, right? And he's not. And then towards the end, he seems to be able to just quit it pretty easy. And so it's odd. Right? It's just one of them odd things that are thrown in there. And you're just like, I don't know what this is. Right? Action Bronson was decent in here. Doesn't really do a lot. But again, it's just like, what is this character? What's the need for the character other than to do this certain thing at this certain point, right? There's this stuff going on, and the neighbor, like Matt Smith, is decent as Russ, but the whole Russ thing, and also, right, like the plot bit about Russ and the explanation all feels a little bit flimsy, right? Because you're just kind of, there's things where it's just like, well, you know what these people are, what these people do, so you would know, you know, what comes from this and this and this and this, right? So it's not rocket science to think this, and this. So that's the weird thing about the film, right? Like, you have these crazy scenarios going on and different things and all of this. And it's just like, there's certain things and you just go, why would you pick that thing up? Right? This is in the 90s. And we know about fingerprints. Right? Like, I mean, people knew about fingerprints, like, in the 70s, right? So, I think, especially in the 90s, where you got all these police procedurals and all of this, so it's just like, you go, I wouldn't be picking shit up out my fingerprints anywhere in certain circumstances, you know? So, yeah, it's just, for me, like, I'm watching this film, and the thing that jumps into my mind, I don't know, because I think we really looked at it last year. I think it was its anniversary. I think it was last year. Time is very odd, people. I sometimes lose where the fuck I am. But Lucky Number 11. All right, that is the film that really jumped into my mind as I'm watching this. And Caught Stealing feels like it wants to be a Lucky Number 11 type of thing, but it just doesn't play as smart as that, right? I thought Lucky Number 11 was really smart about how everything was executed and tied together, and it really did build these relationships very well. And Caught Stealing, it's kind of like Lucky Number 11 light, right? It wants to be on that level, but never really comes close, right? So if you like films like Lucky Number 11, then maybe this will work for you. I think like, what was it? I think it was that Pierce Brosnan film, Lucky Charlie, right? Or One Day a Lion, which was better than Lucky Charlie. And it's better than this. But if you like those films, then I think Caught Stealing will work for you. So I say it's not terrible in any means. And we get decent performances, right? The performances aren't bad by any, length of the word. It's just the characters don't have enough depth for you to really care and get behind anyone, Like, we get these good performances, but it's just, they're doing all they can, but there's just not enough there, But, hey, we finally got a film that's getting released everywhere at the same fucking time, right? So, yeah, everyone will be able to watch Caught Stealing from this Friday, the 29th of August. So if it sounds like it's your thing, you'll be able to find it in the Cinemaplex, people. Go enjoy.